Hello and welcome to the Worldwide Women's Circle live stream, going into the dark side of the sisterhood. And welcome to the dark side, ladies. Well, I see that we have some new women here, and I want to welcome you. And this is a topic that's very dear to my heart, and all of you women are very dear to my heart too. So I love it. I'm going to keep the integrity of the hour call. So if we could go around and just say hi and what brought you here or why you're interested in this subject, that would be, and keep it to 30 seconds. That would be wonderful. And I'm going to put the talking stick in the middle, and whoever wants to start can start. Who will start? One of you.
I'll start because I was the last. Woo! I know, are you surprised? Why am I here? Because I found you from the scene. Or you found me, or we found each other. It was something that I'd done without really thinking about. Or I started
Yeah. You're actually a little muffled. Very muffled, actually.
Let's do it this way. The wireless one?
No, the regular one.
Okay, how's that?
Yes. Great.
Better?
Yes.
Okay, so yes, I have always worked with women, always brought them together in small groups, but never anything in a large or larger, more organised fashion. And yeah, the Worldwide Women's Circle gave me the opportunity to share my gifts and feel supported in that there were other women out there that wanted to support each other instead of tearing each other down, and that there was a community out there that was desperate to that was secret stuff into what was sacred. So that's why I'm here.
Thank you, Michelle.
You're welcome.
I hope. Hi, Lisa. I see that you're here. If you could put yourself on mute, we're going around and introducing ourselves and speaking about what interests them about the dark side of the sisterhood.
Okay.
I'll go next. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm Dorley, and well, first off, there's just so much to benefit from and share in women's circles in general. But the dark side of the sisterhood is kind of this interesting opportunity where we become triggered or we trigger each other, and suddenly we have an opportunity to help heal one another and create a space where everyone benefits. So it's talking about dark topics, dark issues, dark history, our own or of somebody that we know, and we're able to bring it into the space and make it a constructive, beautiful experience. And it's not, sometimes there's tears, sometimes there's laughter. It doesn't really matter what it looks like, but it's nice to create a safe, comfortable, loving space to kind of have that be the container for approaching this kind of work. So this is something that is really important to me, and I'm really excited to see some new faces and some old faces. And yeah, hi everyone. Uh-oh.
Aho. Thanks, Dorley.
I'll go next. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Angie. I'm in Toronto. Um, I really appreciate this topic because, especially lately, I've personally felt a little bit isolated and really wanting to have more connection, but feeling a lot of, I guess, the dark side of sisterhood, in that I just don't feel very free to connect with other women as much as I want to. So there's a lot of, I think, perfectionism, self-criticism. So it's actually very close to me because I feel like I'm in a bit of a dark side in terms of connecting with others. So the upcoming circle is really huge for me at moving through that, but my intention is to be totally authentic about that. So, yeah, so I'm really glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Aho.
I'll go next. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm Jamie Lyerly. I'm in San Diego. And for me, the idea of the dark side of the sisterhood is one of the reasons why I haven't actually, it's been years since I've run a women's circle. I've kind of stepped behind. I have a lot of wounding around being in different communities and me choosing for me, in that moment and basically being killed energetically or, being projected upon or having a bunch of different things for whatever choice I've had in the moment. And so I personally have a lot of wounding around sisterhood and especially around even leading or being a part of circles anymore. So I've kind of stepped back and started doing the back end of, kind of being the magic behind the magic for other people because of my fears. But I've been seeing where um, I have a particular unique flavor that certain women are drawn to, and that I am hoarding and holding back my own gifts because of these wounds that I haven't been able to address.
Thank you, Jamie.
Thanks.
Aho. Aho. I can go. Hi, everyone. I'm Lisa, um, on the Peninsula, California. Um, the dark side of the sisterhood. This is such a cool topic. And I think it can be really like daunting to think about this stuff and like really easy to push it away. It's kind of like this like hidden thing that is like it can be easily pushed down, and I think I've seen myself kind of avoid certain situations because they are triggering and things come up and then not sure like how to deal with it necessarily, and it would be really cool to get some tools on like how to do that in a circle in a group setting. So I'm looking forward to this. Thank you all. Aho. Aho.
So I guess I am the last one today. I'm Jessie from San Diego, and the area of the dark side, interestingly enough, has been coming up a lot since stepping into doing this. Kind of healing the wounds of the mom for me, which kept me from connecting to women a lot as I grew up, and I seem to attract a lot of my mom to me. So it's given me a huge opportunity to heal that, and I've had some experiences of that actually healing. So I'm really looking forward to just connecting and being more open to connect. So, aho, I'm done.
Aho. Thank you. I'm gonna get my headset really quickly because there's like, of course, there's construction going on right outside my window, and dogs barking. Yeah, this topic for me is really important because I have found women's work mainly because of the deeply ingrained issues that I have with my own sister. And we don't connect. And I'm just going to say what's so is I was her older sister and I was her abuser. I used to physically hurt her when I was young, and we would get into these big fights, and she still thinks of me as that person, and it's a terrible, terrible feeling, and to have to relive that or have to be judged as that and thought about as that, and I don't really know what to do. And part of the purpose of this call is to start to talk about it, and where is their responsibility and where is their forgiveness. And as it's so funny because I didn't think I was going to share that, but okay, before we get started, I want to do a drop-in and light our sacred fire. So get into your feet, get into your bodies. Welcome our bodies here, welcome each woman here. This is our heart flame candle, and this is part of the flame that keeps our, let's see, there we go. This is our heart flame. So as we begin to drop into our bodies, using our breath, we connect with the flame. Taking a breath. Taking a breath. Connecting with the earth, dropping those roots down, down, down. Down into the ground. Letting those roots move outwards. Welcoming your body here. Sacred fire, burn bright. Shed light on how we work against each other and bring us out to the other side, in connection with our leadership and for those who we are as leaders of the sacred sisterhood. I call upon the guardians of this work. I invite and welcome the guardians and gatekeepers of the South, West, North, and East, as well as above and below. Bring us the information, healing, and empowerment we need to bring healing to our collective and Mother Earth. Touch our heart. Connect with me, flame. Light up the passageways I have kept dark, because so that I can do my work on behalf of humanity. Let that burn. And there are many prophecies that speak of women coming together in powerful force, united to change the world. And as women circle leaders, we are living examples of these prophecies in action. And that's why I think it's so important to look at what is not being talked about. And it is the elephant in the room. Is that women are pretty mean to each other, and we have some work to do. Sisterhood among women has been wounded by the collective shadow habits of the feminine. Mistrust, comparison, judgment, gossip, and it all starts from a very young age. An example, I need to be prettier, taller, smarter, my hair needs to be straighter or curlier, I need to get the better looking guy, I need to be smarter, I need to have the nicer car. We are socialized to mistrust each other, to compete, to be better than. And things happen when we are young, which we create stories about why it's unsafe to be with women or girls back then, and then we bring it into our adult lives. And we never really have the chance to have a deep, meaningful, collaborative relationship with each other. And then we go deep with a group of women. And I've seen it happen. And these old wounds are bound to come up. We start to see them playing out. And I know for me, when it's happened to me, that I just had no idea what to do. And I felt very powerless. And as women circle leaders, we are in a power role. And it's so important that we do our work in this area. Instead of talking about what is wrong with it, our job is to hold our circle with accountability and integrity. That means doing our work, taking a stand for keeping the integrity of the circle, pointing it out, being able to spot it. And also as leaders, our relationship to other women is a direct reflection of our relationship to our own feminine essence and to the feminine in all of life. A doorway to restoring a relationship of trust and celebration to our inner feminine and to the feminine principle in all of life is through healing our relationship with other women. So you may have been on the receiving end. Actually, there's two sides of this, because there's the receiving end and there's the giving end. How many of you have been on the receiving end of some of this stuff? Some of the shadow. Yeah. Bullied.
Oh, yeah.
Gossiped about. How many of you have been on the receiving end? Come on. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. And it's okay. There's nothing wrong here. It's, for me, what the biggest importance is like there's no one talking about this. There's this whole like emphasis on sisterhood and coming together and like women being the force to change the world, but when we get around each other, we just like go at each other. So I came up with 3, for the purpose of this, for this circle, I came up with 3 of the most that I see, how to spot them, and then what there is to be done. And then we're going to go and we're going to have time for feedback and sharing. And then we'll talk about what there is to do next for you as a leader. And I have a little challenge for you. And I would love to leave this call feeling empowered, to have everyone feeling empowered. Does that sound good? Okay. Okay. So envy. Envy is the insatiable desire to have what she has, regardless of consequence. And it's a very human emotion that can turn really ugly if left unchecked. Women envy each other's looks, clothes, hair, job, body, man. We are taught that how we look and who we are with reflects our status. As a result, we will do anything to stay on top, including betraying the women in our way. This idea of limited goods or magical theft makes us feel like something is being taken away from us just because it's happening to someone else. So like, an example would be like, you know, being upset that, or I'm going to use, so funny. I'm going to use the pregnancy, like finding out a woman is pregnant and then being jealous because it should be you, or being upset because it should be you. That's one example of envy. How to spot it is feeling threatened of another woman, or leaving a meeting when you're with a woman where you feel bad about yourself. It leads to resentment of another woman, pushing her away, separation, judging her, and like sometimes hearing in your head, I am better than you. The work here is to feel complete in your own sense of self and to feel satisfied with your natural gifts and beauty. Every woman is uniquely herself, and as women, we need to honor her as that. And the responsibility is voicing it, is telling her and fessing up to the responsibility, and so fessing up to the responsibility and also introspection. The more we define and focus our own goals, the less we focus on what other women have that we don't. Number 2 is competition. Women feel a sense of competition towards one another because we've been trained to feel threatened, and this competition is strongest around the pursuit of a man. Women are so intuitive and wise. When it comes to men, we are much better off consulting than competing with each other. We would make less mistakes if we could turn to our sisters for their insight and perspective. Instead, we decide that we would rather rob our girlfriends of the man they've won than stand aside in support of her happiness. How to spot it. Comparing ourselves to each other in superficial, usually physical ways. Not wanting to share a new idea because we wouldn't want our sisters to steal it or benefit from it. And anything that's like a mine mentality, that attachment mentality. The solution is support, mentoring, and collaboration. Mentoring younger women, even if we weren't mentored ourselves, is important. Pushing, not just for ourselves, but for the whole of us as women to make more money, to excel in our fields, and to have it all. The work here is to turn the need for competition into collaboration as the feeling of needing to conquer transforms into the realization that one happy woman is the path to our own sense of happiness. I think that's so amazing. It's like such a mind fuck. The work here is to turn the need for competition into collaboration as the feeling of needing to conquer transforms into the realization that one happy woman is the path to our own sense of happiness. Love it. The third one is gossip, third-party conversations. So gossip is an act of superiority. It's like literally making the woman below you. Gossip is still one of the most rampant, nasty things we do as women to each other. Usually it stems from a girl getting upset about something a friend did, and instead of telling her about it, telling her friends, who then tell their friends, And it just creates a vicious cycle of false truth. And what it looks like. Like I think of like a gossip magazine that like pits each other with the caption, "Who wore it better?" Or a group of women ostracizing a best friend, all being mad at her and kind of like pushing her out. So the solution is being willing to have courageous conversations. We need to be willing to say to another woman that we didn't like something she did or said, and do it in a respectful and private way where we are still building her up and not pulling her down. Because it's reciprocal. When you lift other women up as you climb, it's just a win-win for all of us. The core wound here is self-worth. When women feel unworthy, they act from a place of desperation, resulting in behaviors that are not aligned with being a woman standing in her full power. Building a stronger sense of self-worth starts by aligning with other strong women for the support needed and working towards shedding old beliefs about inferiority. This is needed particularly among younger women, as the role modeling in today's culture represents negative stereotypes like mean girls and unappealing characteristics that aren't natural to the female condition. The work here is to look internally for self-worth and stay surrounded with people that support the strength and beauty inherent in all women. So, my hypothesis is that when we go deep with a group of women, that we start to act out these wounds. And each wound is going to be different for each woman, but they will play off of each other. And it's important to know when they're happening, to notice, to be able to stand and talk about it. I think this all comes down to having the courageous conversations and not holding it back, not holding back. If you felt like that you were ganged up on or bullied or called out by a woman, or you're just not feeling good about the whole interaction, being able to take it to the group and you as a facilitator just standing in that, yes, this is for the greatest good of not only the women in the circle, but also for the world, because that's what we're doing here, right? We're all here to heal the sisterhood. We're doing our work for the collective consciousness. It's pretty big. So I'd like to hear from some of you. What are you hearing? What are your questions? What I like put all of the wording in the beginning of the first half an hour so that we can actually get into more of a conversation with each other. And you can even take yourselves off mute so we can just have a discussion. Because I think that would be the best way. I'm still learning here. And I'm just leading the conversation. So, yeah, what are you hearing, and what are you hearing?
Well, I could jump in and share something. Well, what I'm really hearing is about the courageous conversations and how much I feel that I haven't been able to bring that. I sort of recently had a long friendship with a woman come to an end over some stuff that went down in our relationship, and there was a really big conflict to me at the time in terms of the difference, or trying to sort of balance being a good friend and taking care of myself and honoring what I needed out of my friendships and relationships. And what that ended up looking like was I wasn't able to really be there for this friend when she was going through a difficult time because she was, what I perceived to be was very destructive and very negative towards me. So I feel a sense of failure with not being able to, be courageous enough to keep that conversation going, and rather I kind of had to close the door and step back, feeling like it was the right thing to do at the time for me to take care of myself. So I'm sort of struggling with the difference between, like taking care of ourselves and taking care of our relationships and our responsibilities to other women, because in the end, I don't want to end up feeling like I've pushed everyone away to try to take care of myself if the situation wasn't, easy. So yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. I really get that. And I'm kind of going through that too. Like, I really want to fix everyone and save the fucking world and, like, be the hero. And, like, with my sister, it's very clear that we're not going anywhere. And it's probably better off that we take a break for a little while. And I've had, I think for me, as long as it feels complete, if that relationship feels complete to you, then I would say that you're in the clear. But if there's still something nagging at you, there's something to look at there. And that may exist in taking responsibility for something, or having that clearing conversation.
What's really, sorry, if I could just add one more thing that is actually really, really interesting, is that I did try to reach out and clear things up with this other woman, and unfortunately she was very hurt, and she didn't want to, while we both agreed it would be clear, sort of the energy cleared between us and we weren't holding grudges about it, and that we just were going to go our separate ways. She was very hurt and hurtful towards me about the situation. And, while I felt good about clearing that out, it still nags my mind for sure, not all the time, but now and again. And then I'm seeing the situation repeat itself with other women that I know. It's almost scary how exact the situation is. It's that I'm kind of having to face it again. So it's a question for me for sure, is how to what that is, because I don't know if it's something I need to resolve with the original woman or with myself, or what's going on. I suspect it's something with myself, but I am seeing it reflected in other relationships in a very eerie way.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Can I add something to that, or?
Go for it, girl.
Yeah, so I can relate with that, basically, with the idea that if you haven't worked it all out, it's going to keep showing up over and over again, because I've had that same repeating situation. And for me, when I heard you reading your article or what you wrote up for this particular thing, I was hearing the thing under the gossip. The layer that I've seen is that when a group of women get together, powerful women get together, I might get emotional about this because it's a hard area for me, but the people are assigned different roles is what it ends up being. And there's at least one woman in the group that ends up being like the scapegoat or the victim basically for the group, which is basically the idea that all of the group. And I myself have been that woman multiple times. And it's hard to be like, it's basically like, well, if Jamie won't, if we could just fix that problem of her, you know, or whatever she's doing that's affecting the group dynamic would be okay, you know. And it's a hard place to be at. And it's one where I see now that I've taken that role numerous times, that every time that I step up into women's leadership, especially as the group of women get around me, they're powerful women. I'm a very sensitive being, and as hard as I look on the outside, and as big and as intimidating as I look on the outside, I'm really easy to kill. And that's the thing, is that the what I've seen with a lot of women around is that you show your vulnerability and go deep, like you said, in a group of women, and they have the exact ammo on how to kill you. And they know exactly where to push. And the people that are the bullies, they have all of they have the exact place to push for me. And I've been working this for a few years in different levels. And I feel like you mentioned before, Leah Rose, about how I'm not sure what else I can do to shift that energy around taking the victim role or being the victim when I'm in a group of women, other than when I step up into leadership. But even that, when I go to put something out there, all I think of is all the other women who hate me, and who hate me even in my hometown. Like, it's hard for me to actually put out. It's almost easier to go lead a workshop somewhere else that's not here, because there's not as many people that energetically have this like no energy towards me. And it's like, even where if I comment on someone I feel like I've resolved the stuff with, if I comment, or if like I try to make some sort of connection thinking we've cleared enough, and I feel that hit back of like the way that they respond to me, even if it's not negative, if it's just like a thanks or okay or whatever, it's a smack back that I go, damn, I thought we were clear. And so it's like every level, you know, to me gets really frustrating of like, what do you do as a leader when you're doing the best you can, and there's still that residual. And the way that I've resolved that, or the way that I've like done with it, which is not very healthy, is to step back and just be like, all right, I guess no one wants my flavor. Nobody wants me to be a leader. Forget that. Just never mind. And it's hard, especially the thing I want to add to is that, like, when you mentioned about the gossip, all I think about is that when you get powerful, strong women together and they team up against one, it fucking hurts. And no matter what clearings can be done, or team up of one or two, or like when you ostracize people, it hurts. And that's where I'm coming from, is I'm trying to integrate back into leadership on my own, not even relating to the women that used to be in my field anymore. And all I'm feeling is like all these blocks to actually putting my stuff out there. It's almost like I'm dragging these years of baggage with me, even into my new endeavors. So then and then it's hard to make it through the portal. It's not just like, oh, I want to be a leader and I have a hard time being seen. It's not even that. It's more like I have a bunch of powerful force fields from these women who haven't taken them down. you know, and it's like that's what I see on I watch energy systems and I see like, oh my God, it feels like everyone's still against me, you know, and that's the energy I'm still running, and I'm like, it's hard to come out when it feels vulnerable, not only to step up as a leader, but to like feel like you're going to get killed by people who know all the weapons, not know how to get there. So.
All right, thank you, Jamie.
Mm-hmm.
That's some bold shit.
Yeah, that's how I roll.
And I want to just bring an awareness to holding space. And what we're doing here is we're going deep. We're going deep into the shit. And so each of you, I'm going to invite you to just hold the space, whatever that means to you, even if you don't know what it is. You know energetically what that is. So just be here and be present and breathe and get that, you know, these are stories and these are fears and these are real for that person. And it's important not to take them on. You can relate to them. Just be there for her. Be there. Like, these are real stories that are happening in the sisterhood right now. And this is what we're holding space for. And thank you for sharing, Jamie, because I'm a part of that. I was there. I was a part of that old community, and it's another part of the reason why I'm here having these conversations, because it really bothers me. This kind of stuff really bothers me. And I see it's in the way. And I see that, like, you know, just what I heard was you're, like, literally making it mean that you can't be a leader because of these other women and what you know, how they ganged up on you. Mm-hmm. And it's bullshit. It's how can you be fully supported in stepping out and being a leader, even with this story or even with this energy towards you?
I mean, what comes up for me is really, you know, setting the energy poles of the people who do actually support me. It's not like I'm completely alone with this. It's just, and after that experience that, you know, we had, that you were a part of, like, there was another layer, another whole community that basically a similar thing happened. So it's like now I'm on, like, either the third or fourth time this has happened in some sort of level of, like, me getting vulnerable and intimate and with people and them killing. So it's I'm not sure. I'm tired of turning around and running. Yeah. That's kind of the, like, and the only times that I've really gotten fierce about it, like, to stepping into my power, is when I end up with that, like, fuck you energy. So, but which is, like, it can be a fuel to move forward and push past, but then it's like, it's not sustainable for me, because I'm, like, at my core, I'm kindness. I'm not the fuck you energy. So it's hard to sustain, and that's the only time I can push through a layer or two, is like when I'm just like, all right, it doesn't matter what anyone says. But it comes back to that self-worth piece of not feeling sustainable in that. And so when I see myself as a leader and when I go to step out into the world, which I'm sure other people can relate to, is the idea that I don't want to step out unless I'm going to, like, stay out for the women that call to me. I'm not going to call people to come to me and then drop them. That's just not what I do. So it's always been that whole moment of trying to step out and going to step out and, making classes, doing everything that I do. But then that moment of like going, if I'm going to call anyone out, like call anyone to me to come to me, I'm not going to drop them. I'm not going to victimize them in the way that I've been victimized. And I'm also not going to leave them. So, and then it comes back to, for me, of like, never mind, I just won't call them then. I just won't call a group of women together because I don't know if I can hold them because I don't have the group of women behind me to hold my back. So, like, I have a couple of women that but not the sisterhood, the web. To me, the web has been torn down and blocked from me. And so, I don't know. I mean, I've done my best on multiple occasions to build a web of my own, and it hasn't really stuck because I keep running. So.
Thank you, Jamie.
Yeah.
Well, we here at the Worldwide Women's Circle, I just want to welcome you into our web because what we're creating here is a true community of powerful leaders and taking this stuff on. And I really think that if you let yourself call together a group of women, you will be able to hold them so powerfully. They would feel so supported by you, so gotten by you, and you would know, because you've been through it, what is going on if it starts, any sort of victimization, and just be like, no, we're not doing this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Jesse, were you going to say something? I'm seeing your hand.
Oh, yeah. I just wanted to throw it out there to you, Jamie. If you need any support, I'm here in San Diego, too. I'd be happy to be there and have your back for you.
Thank you, Jesse.
Dorley over here. I would like to make a comment. It's for things like this that I'm so grateful to have this network, the Worldwide Women's Circle. This is where, the space is being held. And I connect this new space to kind of my comfort zones or previous circles that I've been a part of. And what's cool is that I feel like I bring my own lineage just as each of you contribute your own. And when we come together, we get to benefit from all of it. And it's nice because we don't have to do it by ourselves. And in hearing what you guys have shared so far, things that stood out to me were, a problem arising and how do we work it out? How do you feel complete? How do you heal? Heal specific wounds or general wounds that, that we feel. Women, by connecting with the earth, by connecting with ourselves. And so I wrote these things down, and then I wrote a list of what I thought the solution was. And then I'm realizing this is the solution. We're doing it. It's happening right now. We're mentoring each other. We are a web of sisters right here. We are having a critical conversation. And this circle is actually facilitating for all of that to be in motion. So we can bring up something that's been stuck. We can bring up something that's been super painful, something we haven't wanted to talk about, and we're helping each other to move that energy. So why don't we take a moment and like maybe practice that or something, or just take a deep breath and kind of like help each other to circulate the energy and just compost it, just let it go, and allow for help in that way. So maybe just a few deep breaths. For me personally, in bringing up past, traumas or dramas with girlfriends, in circle, I guess. I for some reason I'm wanting to like place it inside of being in circle with women. I think of like, how can I feel complete, or I need a conversation to happen. And a lot of the times when I have felt that way in the past, not even knowing it, I have attached that to somehow having some kind of conclusion, and it looking a certain way. And then actually going forward and addressing the problem, I realized that it starts within myself. And, what if you can't even talk to the person or people? Or what if, I don't know, like what if the conversation needs to happen just with yourself? How can you forgive yourself? How can you forgive that other person? What does that look like? Do you have compassion for yourself, love for that other person, even though they did that to you? And yeah, it's hard. It's hard to not have judgment for yourself, for others, especially when you're being vulnerable. And maybe in the future there'll be space to have that conversation, and maybe there won't be. But I feel like coming together and talking about it can help lead to the feeling complete. And, hope is fine. I think hope for the future. Hopefully you can hug it out or have more healing there, in connection with the other person, if it's like a specific thing that happened with you and another woman. But yeah, I feel like the mentorship, this critical conversation, and being in circle can help move that towards being complete.
Aho.
So much for sharing. Aho.
That's awesome, Dorley. Thank you so much. So we have 7 minutes left, and I need to be in integrity with the hour because I have a therapy appointment that I need to make with my husband. Yeah, that was so beautiful, Dorley, what you said. And one of the things that I really get is like a lot of my, if I've been in a situation, anyway, clearing conversations are so integral to complete things. And even if, so maybe there's a woman in your life or women that you're incomplete with. Maybe you haven't told her something that, and because of that, you've been feeling separated from her and staying away from her. Or she triggers you in some way, or she said something that upset you, and you've disconnected. That my challenge for you with it for these next 2 weeks would be to have that conversation. maybe there's, and really, like, it's not about blaming her. And say, like, she said something that hurt your feelings. It's not about blaming her. It's about saying, hey, I was hurt when you said this. And take responsibility for that. You know, because of that, I stopped calling you for 3 months because of this one thing you said. So is there somewhere, and just look right now, if there's some woman that pops up in your consciousness and says, hey, there's something incomplete here. It's important not to be attached to the outcome.
Yeah.
In the situation with my sister, she doesn't want to. I have tried. I have groveled. I have changed all of the ways that I look at her. I have forgiven myself. I truly feel complete with who I was in the past. I was a child when this stuff happened. I was an innocent child. And she still has this stuff towards me. And it's going to be for her. You know, my commitment. Well, first, my attachment was our relationship had to look a certain way. But the fact that she can't be around me doesn't make it possible for that to happen. But my commitment to her is that I am a loving sister. I am family for her. I will always be there for her. And that's my commitment to her, no matter how she feels about me. And that drives that. And I will be around when she decides to come around. And maybe there's women who in your life who have had to take space from you. Be open for whenever that woman comes back to have that clearing conversation.
Yeah.
If you have something to say to, just call and be like, hey, I got to get clear. You can write a letter and burn it. Like, there's many ways that you can reach out to kind of clean up that energetic mess.
Beautiful.
Go
ahead, Jessie.
I just have a quick question. Something that I learned in my Reiki, well, kind of a half question. Would it be appropriate if it's someone that you may not be able to communicate with to take it into a meditation and confront them or have the conversation with them in that way so that you can clear yourself? You know, you say everything you need to say. So for me, it was my abuser. So it was like having them standing in front of me and me telling them all the things that I needed to tell them, and then taking my power back, letting go of what happened, the story, but it was still just as powerful as them being completely in front of me in a physical form. So, I mean, because sometimes we're not in a place where we can do it in a confrontation in the person, or they've passed away, or whatever the story is, but it would give an opportunity to have that conversation and have that communication, or that hard conversation.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. There's many ways to get complete. That is
so powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, ladies. I have 1 more minute. And I just want to thank you all. It means so much that you're here. And I think one of the things we can do really quickly is just pull. If there's a cord that you have out towards another woman, just pull it back right now. 1, 2, 3. Pull all those cords right back to you. Take your power back. Just call them right back into you. They don't need to be there anymore. And then let's pat our bodies. Michelle was telling me that we need to do more grounding, so I'm making sure that we're grounded. Oh. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, lady.
We didn't get to hear from everybody, but just the fact that you were here means so much. And I call this call to completion. Aho.
Aho.
Oh.
So powerful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you all. And Jamie, I'd love to connect with you deeper about this. And all of you, I mean, if you want to go deeper, just let me know. Just reach out and we'll bring it.
Yeah.
All right. I gotta go. I'll talk to you all later. Bye.
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 Thank you.